Good night of Shabbos. Parshas Bahar B'Chokosei. And we also have Shabbos Mevarchim. We're going to be blessing the month, the new month of Sivan. It's almost like finishing a sequel, going from Adar into Nisan, into Iyar, and from there to Sivan, which we are finally getting to the destination. You know, if there's ever a destination in a place that's only a journey, because we never arrive, we keep evolving. It's a constant evolution. So we're getting there, Chodesh Sivan, we're blessing the month, getting to a destination. Since we are in a place that's limited, in a guf and a body, thank God to that. Otherwise, it's just endless, like an ocean with no destination, which is chaos, toyu. So we're given in that place, from that place of gevul, the place of restriction, so to speak, because limitation can show up in many different ways. It can show up as a squeeze, it can show up as a restriction. So we're given a Torah mitzvahs, which that gives us a way how to connect, which is, as we're being pulled into grounding, we're being pulled into a place of limitation, and it's a strong squeeze, it's a pull, and what's going to bring relief to that? It's like dry skin in the winter. It's dry, but then if you put a little moisture on it, it revives the skin, and it's almost like the body, the skin is asking, it's yearning, desiring, has a thirst. And by applying that, we start opening up, and it revives. It comes back to life again. It becomes one. It's also Shabbos Chazak. We're finishing Sefer Bamidbar, Vayikra, going into Bamidbar, going back into the desert. Yeah, once we have the Torah, we can go into the desert, because if you have that, then no matter where you are, you can connect. And ultimately, from when there is no distractions, that's when we can really connect. So I want to go back to a few things that we discussed by the Farbreng, and I want to clarify that. One was, we were talking about passing out, and we did a whole circle with Gevul and Bli Gevul, but we never covered the actual. The point that I wanted to make is, when a person comes to, it's like opening a bottle of seltzer. First it almost like it explodes. It's full of life, uncontrollable, and then it calms down, and then it settles in. So too, we are in a space of where there was, from this place of where limitation was created. Imagine you have a very fast plane that goes at 500 miles per hour or 600 or whatever the speed is, and then it comes to a sudden stop. It just stops, like right there, full stop. From the impact, there's a massive explosion. So when we're talking about something that is limitless, something that is endless, and then you put a limitation to it, it goes at, sound of speed, it goes as fast as lightning, instantly. Let's just say as a mashal, we're using that because that's what it was. And when you put it into full stop, there's a massive explosion. There is an opposite effect, and that causes, from this explosion, there's something new that comes out, something new that's created, from the yes and the no, from the yesh and the ayin, from the unlimited to the limited. Something new comes growing from that. A new beginning, a new leaf, a new flower can come out from that. So life, as we know it, with all the chaos and all the commotion that each and every one are dealing with, the way it shows up, it's the same gevul, the same limitation, but then everybody shows up, everybody's vessel shows up in a different way. How it touches up, how it interprets the reality. So the first thing is to become present with that, to understand that the chaos that we're dealing with is not really the story. That is just the evolution part of what the story is. And in order to get to the story, we need to get to the place where it settles down, to get to the nakuda, which is going inside, becoming present, not to get distracted with what's outside of us, but rather go into the inside. What is behind? What's behind the explosion? What's behind this massive confusion? So the way to tap into that is בחוקותי. It's the chak. To simplify it is, for people like us, it's what's your value system? What do you stand for? What are the values? What is important to me? What's my core? What's holding this whole thing together? The center point of everything. Because there is no center. The ocean is endless. It's an endless light, it's endless potential. But I need to find my center. And the world is created with, it has the four corners, Mailamata, up and down. Mizrach Marer Daram Tzofa Mailamata. To find the center of that. Now, in this week's parsha is also, we have the Teichacha, which is, so to speak, to translate it accurately, it's called the curses. If you don't do this, I'm going to do that, and it goes on, and it's brutal. And we know in the Chassidish Sfarim is brought down that this is not really curses; they're really blessings. Now the question is, it's a nice thing to say, but at the end of the day, it does not look that way, and we are experiencing some of that, and we have experienced in our history there were times during in our journey that it did not look like blessings at all, and until today, there are many days and hours and moments and portions of our life that does not look like a blessing at all. So what does that mean? So we need to understand we have to change the lens, how we look at things. Now, the Torah is not here to threaten. Hashem is not here to threaten us, to tell us if you're going to do so and so, if you're going to show up on time, or if you're going to know whatever was learned, then good. If not, I'm going to punish you. That is only, it depends where we're at and how I view things, from which angle I see it. But if we take out the threat from it, if we take out the rigidness from it, and we look at it like that, if you're gonna wear a coat when it's cold outside, then you're gonna be warm. And if not, you're going to freeze. No, if not, it's gonna be cold and you're gonna freeze. So changing the angle, changing the lens, by simply changing that, the whole perspective, everything, the outcome changes immediately. I see it from a different angle. I take the squeeze, I take the aggression out of it. Now remember, if there is something moving very fast and we stop it, stone cold, it's going to have a massive impact. If I pay attention to it from that way, if I stay focused, if I only pay attention to the squeeze, then yes, it looks like a curse and it looks like it's a punishment. But if I understand that the pull and the stop is there to direct me to a place to where I need to be, and where I'm going to find it is in the center, in my value system, if I tap into the message, if I don't pay attention to the squeeze and the pinch, but rather I go to a place where there is calmness, then we find the harmony, and we find by finding the point. So the first thing is to have a value system, to have an intention as to what do I stand for. And if we focus on the positive, which is, it may take a minute to do so because of the past experiences that we've been through. So I'm used to looking at the threat. Now remember, everything is the focus. It's like the magician, everything is the focus. He redirects your focus to the other side so you don't see what's really happening. You're only looking at the outcome. So if you change your focus, and how do you change the focus? Don't try to change the circumstance outside, because that may be too hard, too long, and you may not have the capacity to do so. Because how can I change everything, my surrounding around me? I'm talking about my personal life, marriage, the kids, the business, work, my level of, well, I really don't know, and I was never successful, so on and so forth. So you can't change that. It may take years to change, and you need the support to do so. And in the meantime, life is still going on, and you're moving on, and you don't have the ability to change. I was abused, so on and so forth. But if we're going to a place of radical forgiveness, looking at the message in it, finding the point within, then immediately you're bypassing the whole system and you're dropping into the peaceful moment, into the eye of the storm. And that is usually found in V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha, tuning into your heart. The heart does not differentiate if you are good or not good. It keeps beating. It doesn't matter if you're angry or if you did something right or wrong. It's going to continue beating because it's a vessel of love and compassion. And that fuels all the attributes, all the midas, all my feelings. Everything comes from the heart. The heart is the battery for the whole body, and it's also, if you go into energetically into the spirit of it, it's the organism that fuels everything behind what appears to be. You have the house, you have the wood, the stones, but then the life of it, the juice of it, which is the electricity and all that is the pneumius. That's the pulse of everything. That's the pulse of what keeps the house warm, and it brings the light, and so on and so forth. Understanding is, we spoke about this also, about the precious stones. Right? The Rav Nachman talks about it, that there is Malchus from the other side, which is Zav, Kesef, and Choshes, gold, silver, and copper. Right? If I acquire, the more I have, the more I am. But then there is something on the other side where we can tune into finding self, finding a higher sense of self, finding the spirit of it, finding the electricity, the heartbeat of everything, finding the heartbeat of the gold, silver, and the copper. That is the Kedusha side of it. Not to say that we don't want all that. We want that too. We need that in order for there to be shefa, mein kamach, and Torah. We need bread, and a lot of it in abundance. But we're talking about the emotional state of our existence. That's what we're focusing on right now. So this week, really, what the Parsha is teaching us is to refocusing, to go into the Chak, within all the commotion and all what appears to be a curse and not a blessing. It tells us where we need to go inside the bubble, where we can find harmony and peace. And from there is chazak, v'nish chazak. We're going in from strength to strength, which entering in the month of Sivan. So have an awesome Shabbos, and there should be we should tap into the blessing once and for all. We should find the peace, find that moment, the aha moment, that moment that the center of our lives. Higiyah Zman, to get to the center. Kabbalah Sator is about preparing us to go into the center. It's where Malchus meets Keser. It's where our physical meets the higher conscience. All right, have an awesome Shabbos and all the blessings.